What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to another Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 36 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they defeat the Detroit Red Wings here tonight, 5-2. A spectacular victory for the most part here. We'll break it all down as I am live from a hotel in Ottawa. Hopefully that the stream is smooth enough, good enough here for us tonight. I believe it is. It looks like things are going okay to start the show here, but hotel in Ottawa, we are live from, breaking down everything that happened between the Leafs and Red Wings out there in Detroit tonight. If you are enjoying the show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything as the show goes on here tonight. Lag City. Oh, good. Okay, maybe it isn't as smooth as initially anticipated. Kind of figured that may happen. Hopefully, okay, welcome back, maybe. Let's see how this goes here this time. I think that everything should be good, maybe. At worst case scenario here, you guys can hear me. I know that that's not the greatest viewing experience for you guys. I apologize for that. We'll figure this one out, and we'll see how this goes here tonight, but I'm actively looking for a better way or something I could do to upgrade this internet or make it better. I know that the video quality is very crappy. Robert says hotspot would be better than that crap. I'm trying. I tried the hotspot. It crashed the stream. I tried to go live from it. It said it was not working. So, I'm sorry. Let's see. Maybe I'll try to crank down the bit rate, and maybe that'll make this thing better. But if we do that, then the other thing here is that it might just kill this altogether, because it might give you guys just the crappiest feed of all time. I am not streaming on anything different. It is my normal computer. It's the normal setup. It is just hotel Wi-Fi in Ottawa. I apologize for that. I don't know. I can't get over how bad this video is. I'm checking this myself here and seeing how bad this is. Yeah, it's not good. Man. I'm looking. I'm trying to monitor this here. Okay, let's get into it. Game number 36 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season. They defeat the Detroit Red Wings here tonight, 5-2. Seems good now, you guys are saying. I'm trying to check this. Okay, we're good. You guys are saying good. Perfect. There we go. I knew I could do it. I knew we could do it. Okay. Leafs defeat the Detroit Red Wings here. Yeah. It's good. I'm looking at it. I'm watching it. I got Inception. I'm watching it here on my phone. Okay, we're good. Leafs defeat the Detroit Red Wings here tonight, 5-2. A pretty solid victory for the Leafs team. They start on time here, which is, I think, the best thing you could ask for from this group, considering the fact that you're facing Detroit, you're on the road, you're coming off a holiday break. They've just fired their coach. They're going to have the new coach bump here tonight. So all of those things led me to like this scary place ahead of tonight's game where I kept looking at it and thinking, you're going to have to you're gonna be in a tough situation, and in normal years, this is probably one that I watch this Leafs team and I say, yeah, this is gonna go the opposite way. This is not going to go the way that the Leafs, it should go for this team, a team that is far better than Detroit, a team that, hey, needs to get things back on the road, a team that is going to be trying to turn around some play over the last couple of weeks that has been below average offensively and defensively. And against Detroit, where you're like, hey, new coach bump, they're going to be in their barn coming off of a little bit of a break. I was thinking this Leafs team would be behind the eight ball to get going here, to put it lightly. Obviously with this group, you'd think they'd try to make it competitive even if it didn't get off on the right foot. But to watch them come out right away, right from the jump, from the opening faceoff, and be ready to play, it was a very positive feeling, and one that I was not expecting going into this game. Like, yes, I'm a fan of the team. Yes, I believe that they're going to win or should win in a lot of these situations and these games against teams that are squandering like this, but based on the team's history, which I know some of you in the chat will say, oh, don't look at the past. Oh, it's a different team. No, I'm going to look at the past, because you know what happens with this group is that they have made me feel like they are who they have been in the past few years, because it's not just a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's 9 years to lead into this one that have built this up and just stolen all of the trust I could have possibly had in them to think, yeah, they'll get it done. Yeah, they'll be able to do that. And they did tonight. They start early. They start on time. That first period, honestly, was probably about as good of a first period, especially given the context of tonight's game, that you could have asked for from the group. You get a fourth line goal, and it comes from them having somewhat of an identity there. You're in hard on the forecheck. You're not doing things that are like highlight worthy on SportsCenter tomorrow morning. But what you're doing is getting in and winning battles below the goal line. It's Steven Lorentz, who continues a play that probably should have been dead. He is able to actually extend that one and keep the play alive for the Leafs. Gets it. As he does, Connor Dewar's already crashing towards the front of the net. David Kampf kind of filters out from out high towards the front of the net there as well. And as he's coming around the side, Dewar takes away the defenseman's stick. Puck slots out. And it's David Kampf who, in his 500th game, is able to find the back of the net. Like, this is a guy who's not really been generating very much offense. Between him, Lorentz, and Dewar, I think I said in the game preview earlier today, this is going to be a line that I don't expect to do much. They're effectively like the fast forward button that I brought up in years past, in shows past, where it's like they go out on the ice, nothing happens. They don't give up chances, but they don't really draw anything. They don't generate anything. They don't take penalties. So they just get on, get off. And it's like, okay, that was great. They played tonight. Woo. But nothing really else comes of it. That wasn't the case. You go out there against Detroit and you score that first goal. Like, I know that you want them to be able to continue to score more after, but what have we been asking for of this Leafs team for a long, long time? It's depth scoring. It's contributions from your bottom six, and finally here now we're starting to get it. And one kind of like thing that I would have some pride in tonight as a Leafs fan is, or at least kind of discussing this and knowing how some of you in the chat react to some of these things, is like, there are a lot of times where people will say, or will base it far too much on a singular game. And I know a lot of times I'm guilty of it as well, but when you look at some certain things, you have to be a little bit more big picture, and bottom six scoring is one of those. I get frustrated in some of the moments where people will be like, why didn't the bottom six score tonight against Boston? And it's like, well, guess what? The top six didn't do shit either. So why are we begging the bottom six to do something and bail out the top six? Why are we begging the bottom six to fix things and get us right here in these games? And so it's nice to see times like this where we can kind of just say, hey, you know what? It's nice that the bottom six chipped in. It's nice that the bottom six got on the board against Dallas and Buffalo, etc., and is able to contribute. They have been generating a lot more from the depth players in the lineup. You're not having to rely so much on the top guys. And I don't know if this is a product of Austin Matthews not being at 100% health and having to kind of elevate your game in the loss of like a superstar player where, hey, look, his production, his numbers have still been there. He's still scoring goals. But you're lying to yourself if you're telling me right now that, and you're lying to me, I guess, in the chat, if you're going to say to me, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is the Austin Matthews I was expecting. Really? Because he hasn't looked that great. So I don't know if it's just because his play has not been what it usually is, that the rest of the group has kind of elevated and said, we've got to step up, we've got to score. But they have, and kudos to them. They start the game here tonight with the goal. David Kampf gets on the board, 500th game in his career. That's also a pretty cool thing for him. I'm sorry if I'm swinging this microphone around way too much as well. I realize that I am. The handheld mic is really not something I am very used to, so we'll make it work as the show goes on. I'm a real, hand gesture guy. I've kind of come to figure out over the last little while, and it's usually easier when the mic's just in front of me and then I'm talking to you guys, but we'll figure it out. So sorry about that if that's the case. But yeah, I mean, fourth line goal. You also get a first line goal that is a beautiful pass by John Tavares across to Mitch Marner there. That's a great play that takes place, and that, honestly, I wrote down immediately. That's going to be brought up later in the show. But it's a fourth line, a first line, and a power play. I mean, if you could have checked all the boxes for how you wanted this game to start and for the result of that first period, that's about as perfect as it could have been, right? No goals against. It felt like you gave up limited opportunities. You were going from the jump. You were physical, whatever. JT makes that beautiful play. Marner scores. Your first line's on the board. You get the fourth line opening the scoring. You also then get a special teams goal. All of these things just coming together makes that first period, the first 20 minutes, about as perfect as it could have been, in my opinion. So that was a great start by this team. Contrary or completely different than the start that we had to the show here, where basically you guys had me under the impression that the stream was absolutely lost. I figured out after the fact that I could have just changed something, a setting within my streaming software that I have done here now, but I was sitting here like, what the heck is going on? We did figure it out. The stream stunk earlier on, so I apologize for that, but we're back on track here now. And tonight's stream, as you guys know, as always, is a presentation of Bet365. Bet365 is a proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION. That's NATION. Code NATION. NATION. When you sign up, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We do appreciate Bet365 for sponsoring the show. If you followed along with the pregame, we'll get to it later, obviously, but this is one of those ones where, the bet did not go our way, but the guy that I bet on and thought would be a huge factor in this game was. He just came through in a different area of the game, so we will discuss that later on. The other thing that I want to remind people here as the show goes on tonight is that we have a new charity partner on the show this season, and it is Sick Kids Charity. Yes, that is right. We have a Super Chat charity partner, and it is Sick Kids Charity. Thank you to Sick Kids, a very, very cool initiative that we have on the show this year. If you want to make sure your question or comment gets on the show, hit us with a super chat. Proceeds from our super chat will go to Sick Kids, Canada's first children's hospital and a top research intensive children's hospital in Canada, and third in the world. Third in the world is also a pretty cool thing to just throw in there. You guys send a super chat. Every single super chat will get shown up or brought up on the show. You will have the animation played on the screen. If you're wondering what are super chats, they're you click on the $sign within a live chat there. The live chat must be visible. You select one of the following: a sticker or a sticker pack or a super chat. You select the amount and then drag the slider or type your desired dollar amount. Click purchase or click buy and send, and the message will come through. I will read it here on the show and play the animation for you guys. And with that, we do have a couple of super chats, but before we can get to some of those, I do want to answer some questions here quickly. Am I still in? So first of all, Donnie Does Dish has asked, why are you not at the Canada game? Donnie, because I'm here doing the show. We're talking about the Leafs and the Red Wings. We're talking about the unbelievable start. Nicky Bobby, 1.3 seconds. We're talking about David camping out in front of the net. We're talking about a power play getting on the board. We're talking about Joseph Woll's unbelievable first 50 minutes. And then we'll talk a little bit about letting things get a little loose in the last 15 of the game for the team as a whole. Spend Games asked, Zach, are you still in Ottawa covering the World Juniors? Yes, I am. If you didn't watch today, you should be watching the sheet every Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure to check that out. 1-0 Canada, watching it at the same time. Patrick there says I should put that on the screen, actually, on the other one. But, I am here. I will be here until January 1st. Drive home in the morning of that day. So back with you guys here from the hotel tomorrow night for another show. And then, we keep it moving. Super chats here on the show. Let's get to some of those. We've got a couple of them. Let's do 2 in 1 just because the first one does not have any wording, nothing like that. So let's get to the super chats. Okay, super chat here from Robert Smith. Robert, thank you for the super chat as always. Robert didn't say anything. That's the one I'm talking about. Robert just sent the money. I know Robert sends it for the kids, so thank you, Robert. We appreciate that. The other super chat here. Keep belief in. Riley, brackets 225, is only 2 pounds lighter than Knies, 227. I did not realize Riley was such a heavy man. Keep belief in. Neither did I, honestly. But it's not real. Like, I didn't know the specific weight, but it's not that surprising given, like, if you just look at his build, like, he's a pretty solid, heavy built dude. Like, I imagine most of that weight is probably in his legs and in his ass as well, because just the way he's built, like, it is what it is. He's a strong, thick guy. So, not shocking. But, I did not know that it was a 2 pound difference between him and Knies. That is pretty interesting. I gotta get this. There's stuff streaming off my phone that is just going and playing out of nowhere. I didn't even realize was happening. I think I got it sorted out here now, but there we go. Those are the super chats that are in here now. Honestly, I'm going to put a challenge out to you guys. If we can hit $100 on the super chats tonight, that would be unreal. Remember, proceeds go to the Sick Kids charity. If we can get these up on the show tonight, that would be awesome. They go in support of that. So we do appreciate everyone who sends super chats, who participates in the show, all of that good stuff. It does help a great cause. So thank you guys. JS says Knies is heavier than Revo too. Yes, I did know Knies is heavier than Revo. I knew that Knies was heavier than Revo when he came into the season, and hey, good for him. He went home in the summer and decided, this is my year. I'm going to bulk the heck up. And he did a pretty unbelievable job at that. Came back a thick guy. The other thing that I saw in the chat from earlier that I kind of wanted to point out, just have a conversation about briefly. I don't want to spend too much time on it because I think that it's probably one that is going to piss people off when I say this because of my conversations about other people. But there was stuff going on before the show started about Matthew Knies and where is this guy? And Diz K there says, thoughts on Knies' play since his injury. He seemed to go quiet after that hit from White Cloud. This is what I'm going to say. Analyzing his play, has his play dropped off? Is he in a slump? Is he in a lull? Yes, he is. I would be terrible at my job if I came on here and denied that his play has dropped off. Like, I would be very, very bad at it. This is where it's going to bother people because I have made comments about other guys and will continue to make comments about other guys. And we've gotten in disagreements about this in the chat. It is now 1-1. Canada-Latvia with 6:40 left. Wow. Matthew Knies has proved over a big enough body of work that he is a reliable, very confident player who can be effective, impactful, and produce in the top 6 role. We know that he is not the 30, 40 goal kind of guy. He's probably like 25 and in a really good year, like 85 points. Like an unbelievable year. 80 points around there, Low end, low 70s, high end, mid 80s. The reason I am not going to go nuts on this guy's play and him being in the lineup and his impact is I trust that he's going to get it back on the rails. I trust that this is a lull. This is a learning curve, and he's going to find his way out of it. I think you need to keep giving him opportunities. I think you need to keep playing him in the top 6. You need to keep letting him play on the power play here. I think that if you continue to do that, he will be able to build himself up and just get himself to a point where, it'll kind of just get him back on the right track. Now, the hard part is that he is struggling. And it needs to figure itself out. Because we can talk about all the production and we can talk about some of these guys dropping off and has Matthews been good enough? Has that line been doing enough? Has the power play been doing enough? He is a part of it. And if he can't play up to that standard and that level, then those lines, when they're full and together, are going to struggle. Like, there are going to be problems with them long term. So it's certainly a thing that needs to get turned around. We can't go like an extended period of time with these guys where it's like, oh yeah, like, young guy, he'll figure it out. I think he will. I'm not smashing panic button, but I don't think that this is something for me where I'm going to be going, oh no, what is Knies doing? Get him off, take minutes away. No, I would rather see him play through. And where I will go next on this conversation is something you guys have brought up here in the chat already on the show tonight, and people wanted to know my thoughts on it, and we will discuss it because he did score a goal here tonight, and it was a miracle with the 1.3 separation is with how does he get himself to be a guy you can trust and rely upon every single night and in important situations and into the playoffs, etc.? Can Nick Robertson be that guy? Can Nick Robertson be a guy who can be a contributor regularly? Previously, he has not. And the reason that I have said I'd get this guy out of here, get him off, whatever, is because it feels like there are other guys who could probably do what he does, if not better, in those roles. And then when I looked at what he was adding to the lineup, there was a lack of, as Canada has made it 2-1 here now, there was a lack of physicality. There was a lack of defensive structure, defensive awareness. Like, there was these other aspects of his game that were missing, and he wasn't scoring. He's scoring now. He is finishing checks, he's bringing physical play, and he's not a defensive liability. One thing I will say about Nick Robertson, which you guys may have frustrations with here again tonight, and I'm sorry if you do, but I will always be hesitant with Nick Robertson based on what he has done to us over the last little while. He is very cyclical, where he will come in and score and go gung-ho for a short period of time. It'll shut off. He will go missing for 5-10 games. He will go sit in the press box. He will come back, and then he'll score and do this again. If Nick Robertson can continue to do what he is doing right now, he deserves an opportunity with this lineup. He can help this team. He probably takes away some of the need that this group has as they approach deadline, as they approach, at times where, okay, Yarncroke's coming back, Kampf has now come back, Matthews comes back. Who and what do you need? Who needs to stay? Who needs to go? Maybe if Nick Robertson continues this play, and obviously here, I don't think he's going to score at like this rapid rate where it's like 35 goal pace or whatever it may be, but over the last couple games, more what I'm saying, not over the season, but maybe he pushes guys down and gets you more into a better position where it's like, okay, we don't need to go out and get this, and this, because now we have depth. We have a guy who can score. We have a guy who can play physically. We have a guy who is not a liability defensively. And one of the arguments that I see you guys bringing up there in the chat is he'll get pushed off of pucks in the playoffs. Maybe, but you're going to have an opportunity here in the regular season to at least prove to us that you are a stronger player, that you are going to win battles, that you are going to be able to compete when the going gets tough in the most important part of the season. AK says he's on pace for like 12 goals. I know. I should have worded that better. I did not mean he's on pace for 30 goals based on the season. I'm talking about like you take his last 8-game stretch here or whatever it may be, based on the production that he's now finally getting. He's projected, if you were to extrapolate that over the season, over 82 games, then that's a rampant pace. Like I'm more so saying I don't think that pace continues. I think he falls back somewhere in the middle. But if he can be a contributor, if he can make things happen, I got no issue. None. I got no issue with Nick Robertson being here. I've never had a problem with Nick Robertson. I struggle with his consistency, and I struggle personally with like where he fits into the lineup, just given what this team has and kind of the diversity that they need in order to be a successful team in the playoffs. I saw Gord say, is Zack taking callers tonight? Gord, if you want to call in, you check your messages there. I'm happy to have another edition of Gord's Corner on the show tonight, but you got to send me a message on there on your Discord, and I'm happy to have another Gord's Corner here tonight. I'm sorry if the stream quality is gone to crap. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out and see what's going on, but yeah. Also, I just just saw a message there. I got to check something. I got to see if I have this because I believe I did. I think I threw it in here, but I'm not 100% sure. I don't know where these are. I could have sworn that I put this in my bag. There's a chance that I put them in the other bag. Damn it. Okay. I might not have the smelling salts here right now beside me. I mean, I could run and go get them, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I just saw the comment. I thought that they were in here. I could have sworn I grabbed them for the show, but maybe not right now. I also see you guys saying like Yanni Gord, and I've seen the reports that are out there on that. Yeah, truthfully, I would love Yanni Gord here in Toronto. I think that that's a guy with experience. I think that's a guy who has pedigree. He's been around teams that have won. He's been around teams that have gone on runs, like he was with the Lightning there. I've seen how well-spoken he is in some of the interviews that he's done and stuff. Yanni Gord is definitely somebody that I think would bring an incredible element to this team, to this group. I think that he would be a great addition here in Toronto, but what's the cost? You know, how much is it going to take to get him? Are they asking for young guys? What young guys? There are different things here that do impact, like whether or not you do actually want to go and get that guy. So there are other aspects to it, but Yanni Gord is 100% someone that I would personally have some interest in going out and acquiring as the deadline approaches, which is very strange to be saying that. I mean, we are far away, but we are also not that far away from the deadline. So continue to think about that. Okay. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to do it here now. We're going to get him on the show. We're going to bring back a segment that has been missing for quite some time, and it's not been doing you guys justice in the chat. You deserve more. You deserve better from me. You deserve more of this segment. Let's get to a fan favorite. One for the history books. Let's hit Gord's Corner.
Okay, are you ready? Let's go!
Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing.
Sugar, spice, everything nice. Have a little class and do it right. I gotta say the way I feel. That's right. Buttercup, this is serious stuff. I love the people. You ready? Go. I don't get enough time in this show. I love the people. How's it going? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing? Lovely to look at and delightful to see. Love the hat. A wise guy, eh? You look good, really. You look good.
Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Don't go change it. Do it your way. Go down blazing. Doing that one for the old grapes. Go down blazing.
Gord's Corner, here it is. Gord, how you doing, brother? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. You in a hotel or something?
Yeah, I'm in a hotel in Ottawa doing World Junior coverage here, Gord.
All right. Canada's still up 2-1. Is that it? Game over?
Not game over. I've got this on the TV here now. I think it might be 2-1 late. I think that we might have just seen a Latvia goal. I don't know what I'm watching. There's a highlight. I don't know. I'll update you. I'll update you. But
2-1 with 2 minutes left in the third. I get
okay.
The only thing I get over here, I can't get the TSN broadcast, but I get like a pirate streaming stuff and a 2-2.
2-2.
Oh my goodness. Oh
yep.
no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Okay. So yeah, Merry Christmas to you and all the guys in the chat.
Ohio Gazayam.
Ohio gozaimasu. It's been so long, you've forgotten it.
I know. I said it wrong. Sorry. I said, as soon as I said it, I went, oh no, that's not it. Well, Merry Christmas, Gord.
It's the effort that counts. Yeah, Merry Christmas. So,
how are you?
Yeah, I haven't talked to you guys in a while. So, yeah, I don't know what to talk about. You were talking about Robertson just a minute ago. So, yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as you with Robertson. Like I'm cheering for the guy because I'm a small guy myself, right? So I cheer for the small guys. But I agree with you. If you can get a heavier guy who can do relatively the same thing, then you take the heavier guy every time, right? You need more. You need a guy to be able to protect the puck a little bit better, to be able to drive the net, to be able to cause some havoc in front of the net, to be able to get the puck out along the boards. I mean, his weak points we've discussed before. Getting the puck out on the breakout when it goes along the wall and you get the defenseman pinching in. He has issues there. He has issues down low, but he's a good playmaker. Maybe not a playmaker. He's got a great shot anyway. So, I mean, he's great as a 13th forward, a guy that you can slip in there and whatnot. But if you can get somebody in a deal for him, you were talking about Yanni Gord earlier. I don't know what that would look like going back. Yanni Gord, maybe a guy like Robertson seeing a top 6 minutes, getting steady ice time, could be a 25 to 30 goal scorer. He's got the shot and he's got the skating ability. He's got some hockey sense, so maybe he could. So maybe some teams would be interested in him. Right. I like the guy Evans for Toronto. The Toronto for Montreal.
Mm-hmm. Jake Evans, yeah.
Yeah, Jake Evans, he's got speed. He's small, but he plays with some tenacity. He drives the net. He's a center. What's he got now? He's up there around 16 goals or something?
I don't actually know what his stats are at right now. Jake Evans would be fine. Jake Evans would be lower down on my wish list, I think.
13 goals, 32 points.
Yeah, which I think that he's probably eight goals scored. 8 goals.
Sorry, 21 points. Yeah.
I think that he's a guy who might be getting some of those points and those offensive opportunities because of the environment that he's in, the team that he's playing for. But yeah, I mean,
he's also on a +2 on a horribly defensive team that gives up a ton of goals.
This is true. Yeah, that is true. I don't know. I would look for maybe someone with like a little bit more pedigree. Personally, Yanni Gord obviously is up there. Nazem Kadri would be like the ideal like pickup or whatever, but that's also dependent on what is the cost, what is the what is going to come back what is going to go the other way, those kinds of things. But yeah, Jake Evans is I think would be good. I don't think that he necessarily like moves the needle for me right now. I would probably have that guy slotted into. I'd prefer to have him slotted into like a 4th line role kind of thing. If you're looking to upgrade there, I'd rather make like a bigger move on it. But yeah, I mean I think that would be fine. I do want to ask you about the depth scoring that we're seeing here with the Leafs right now, Gord, because and I'm just going to preface this by saying that don't think I'm going to ask you about the power play at all here tonight, just an FYI to you, because I'm so sick of talking about it. They scored here tonight. I think that was a great play, but I just don't even want to get into that. The bottom 6 and the offensive contribution that these guys are having right now, like this is something that has been brought up in years past. Why doesn't the bottom 6 score? Why doesn't the bottom 6 score? And while I always thought it would be nice if they scored, when they got to the playoffs, the biggest issue was the top 6 couldn't score. So, you know what? Maybe it's harsh, but who the fuck cares if the bottom 6 doesn't score if the top 6 isn't? You know what I mean? Like, if the big guys aren't going, why are we asking the guys who are making $1 million to score for you? Now we are getting some contributions here from this bottom 6. It's been like 8 games where they've looked a lot more dangerous. Basically, it's been since McMahon and Domi's returns. Nick Robertson has looked a lot more lethal. What is it that you're chalking up this bottom 6 offensive outburst too right now, Gord. Like, why are they able to score? Why are they able to generate like this right now over the last little stretch?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Put your finger on something. I mean, obviously, Domi, Robertson, and McMahon line. They converted some chances, but that Domi, McMahon, and Robertson line also gave up quite a few goals. I don't know what. I think they scored 3 one night. They're on the ice for 3. That same night, they got 3 goals. So I think they ended up as a wash. So while that line has some speed with McMahon and Robertson and Domi, and they have some, all 3 of those guys can shoot the puck. So they're an offensive threat. They're still way too loose defensively. I don't know about that line in the playoffs. It's that fourth line looked great tonight. I mean, they hemmed the Red Wings in all game. They had chances on net. They hemmed them in. It seems that that little bit of extra speed that Dewar or Lorenz or whatever that third guy is that replaces Reeves just makes a huge difference in terms of just getting to the forecheck quicker. And getting those, and as a result, getting those turnovers and getting plays on net. So I really liked that third line. And I'm with you in terms of the playoffs. I mean, the top 2 lines are going to score. What I want from the fourth line is what I saw tonight. Just hem them in. Don't let the other team, and be able to play against the other team's first line defensively. Not just the first line, I mean, any line. But even the first line, so you're not worried about them getting caught out. If they're defensively sound and they can get the puck out of their zone and then hem the other team in a forecheck, good 30, 40-second shift, switch it up. That's all you really want from that fourth line. Don't get beat. That's all. Don't get beat. If the fourth line comes out of the game even or +1, that's a great thing. I don't care if they score. So I like that fourth line, the way it looked tonight. I don't know if Lorenz got a twisted knee or what. That didn't look very good. Some of those little knee injuries, they look like nothing, and then next thing you know, you see the guy out
4 to 6. Yeah. Well, the only pushback that I would have is like while I don't mind the fourth line, like if they don't score, like I don't have an issue with that. I'm not going to be demanding that they score goals or creating offense, whatever. But my only problem is I just don't want them to be. I don't want them to be a cardio line. I don't know if that's harsh to say or what, but there's more often than not over the last while where they have just gone out there and just been a line that's on the ice. And you look at it, it's like, oh, yeah, there you go. 8 minutes from him tonight. It's like, well, what did he do? I don't think he has no hits there. He's got no blocked shots. And I know what you mean where it's like they don't allow crazy stuff to happen defensively. Like they're not giving up crazy breakdowns or whatever. The only pushback on this would just be, that's great. Are you just playing in the neutral zone and just kind of going up and down the ice in your entire body of work? Because if they can go down there and maybe get offensive zone opportunities or put on a cycle and make life miserable for the other team, that is when I walk away, even when they don't score goals, and say, that's a line that makes an impact in the playoffs. That's a line you need together that you can use when the going gets tough.
Yeah, I'm totally 100% behind you on that one. Like if they're just wheeling around, cutting off lanes, or breaking up plays in the neutral zone, and then sure, that's kind of like vanilla.
Yeah,
as Keith once said, right? That's a kind of but if you're getting the puck deep and you're laying the body and you're causing turnovers and you're getting pucks on net, then that's a whole different ball game. You're wearing down the other team's D. You're putting pressure. If you can hem that line in, and while you got them hemmed in, you make a change and you get the first line out there and get them hemmed in, or get them to on a tired end of a shift, ice a puck, and you get fresh legs out there against heavy legs, and that's the kind of thing you want from your fourth line. That tonight looked great. If they can just keep that together. I think the difference is when Reeves out there, he's too slow. Although I like his physicality, and I think hasn't played that badly. I think there's a big difference in that those extra 2 strides that either Dewar, Lorenz, or even Kampf can get in on that forecheck and hem the other team in. That Reeves is just like those 2 steps too tardy, and not just the NHL. That's all the difference. You just need that extra 1 step. Bang, the puck's out of you can move the puck over to your defensive partner. Bang, bang, it's out of their zone, right? So
yeah,
I think that's a huge difference. So I think they really have to do something about that third line. They really have to get that third line center. Everybody knows it. You mentioned Kadri, which you're like, oh man, like when that happened, everyone was crying about how Kadri took those penalties and put the Leafs in jeopardy in the playoffs, blah blah blah. For me, Kadri, that was the worst trade the Leafs have ever made, man. That was a brutal trade. Yeah, Kadri is a type of guy. Like here's an example of what Kadri is. Do you remember that time where it was one of the Stahl brothers took a slap shot at Dion Phaneuf with an empty net? Like he tried to hit him. I think it was Eric Stahl. He was pissed off and he's with Carolina. And they had an empty net, and Stahl was trying to hit Kadri. He was so pissed off. Or not Kadri. He was trying to hit Phaneuf. Kadri behind Phaneuf comes flying in, face first slide to block the puck. He missed the puck, but it was a face first slide, and it was a 2-goal deficit with like 30 seconds left. That's Kadri in a nutshell. Kadri is 100% goal, whatever the score is all the time. Do you remember that Washington playoff, the first year that Matthews, Nylander, Marner, they were all rookies. They had 8 rookies in the lineup. They were kind of stalled. I think it was game 5 or something. Kadri goes into the corner, flies in there, throws a massive hit. Gets a turnover on the play, comes back, throws another hit. And then the very next play later, that's when that puck went flying off the boards and Matthews came in and on the rebound does a tuck. Like, that's the guy you need. And then I remember clearly Hayes on TSN talking about Kadri's not a third line center. They got to move Kadri because now they got Tavares and I don't know, he's not suited for the third line, blah, blah, blah. All these guys who try to overthink this first line, third line, second line. Just have those 3 solid centers up the middle. Matthews, Tavares, and Kadri. Worry about other things, about who's second or third or after that. That frustrated me. The whole Kadri thing frustrates me now. And what's he's like at 7.5 million with maybe about 4 years left on his contract. What's he looking at with his contract, Kadri contract?
I'll pull that up here right now. Just also a note to those of you wondering, and Gord, you as well, because I'm not sure if you're able to watch it. There is 42 seconds left in overtime here, and Canada just took a blatant too many men penalty.
Oh my goodness!
Pretty bad one here. 42 seconds left. They're going to the penalty kill. Latvia will be up a man with an opportunity to win this one. Canada 56 shots on goal. Apologies, I know this is a Leaf show, but there is obviously vested interest here for myself and probably a lot of us. 6 1/3. Zack is holding the mic like some 70s game show host. I'm sorry. I told you guys off the top. I'm not sure. Like, obviously, this is a one-off here. I usually have the mic held in a stand in front of me, but this is a new one. Kadri is $7 million until 2029, so he's got 4 more seasons remaining at $7 million per. Obviously, he's 34 years old. You'd need some cap taken off of that one, but and
the thing with Kadri is you're going to have to move either Minton or Cowan for them, and I don't know if you want to do that, right? I don't.
Yeah, especially the more that gets retained, obviously there as well. Gord, the other thing that I kind of wanted to dig into here as we talk about okay, yeah, you're getting some depth. You're getting some guys who are filling in and contributing. I feel like the way that this roster is filling out is starting to look a lot better. This is maybe the first year that I've kind of looked at these guys and said, I don't feel the need for drastic moves. Like a bit, I know we just talk about Kadri and Gord, etc., but a big swing, a big player, it's nice. It would feel nice. It would be a good something that makes you feel good, I guess, is the way that I'm trying to put this one. You know what I mean? Like, okay, in years past, we've looked at the team and said, ooh, that's a hole that could get exposed, but hopefully it won't. And then maybe it does get exposed when the playoffs come. This is a year that I feel like the roster, the style of play, the coach that's here, the GM, his outlook on the team, how things should be built, et cetera, is all very close. There's obviously additions that can be made here, but it doesn't feel like we're sitting here screaming anymore. We need a D partner for Morgan Riley. We need top 4. We need a top 6 winger. No, we've got Knies. We've got Pacioretty. We've got Tavares playing as though it's 2014 again. Like, I don't know where he's found these legs, but he's flying. Like, just watching these guys has felt a lot more comforting. There's less holes. One area, though, that I will point out and say I feel like we can use, which thank God this is the conversation now and not looking at the other end of it, but it's bottom pairing, the 5-6 defenseman. I was fine and happy with Timmins and Benoit to start the season. I really love what Benoit brought last year. They made us pretty excited about Philippe Myers and what he might be able to do, et cetera. But here we are. It's game 36, and I go into each game looking at the D pairings and the D matchups and going, I don't know, because if you put Riley and you put him with Ekman Larson, I feel fine. Riley, that's a different conversation I'll ask you next. But, I mean, I put Ekman Larson with him, and I feel fine about the pairing. McCabe, Tanev, I put them together. Unbelievable about the pairing. They're the best defensive pairing in hockey. Over the last little while, I've lost confidence in Timmins and Benoit together. Benoit more so than Timmins, but now you're watching a shuffling of these guys, and I see different pairings that are going out there. I feel like Timmins' play has dropped off. I feel like he's not being supported by some partners. I feel like he's maybe not supporting some partners. Benoit has seriously regressed after last season, and I don't know if this is a swing too far the other way, if last year was just this magical run by him, and that's not really who he is. That's just him at the best he could possibly be. I'm not sure, but I'm starting to experience a little bit of discomfort with Benoit and Timmins, and you see it here again tonight. Benoit takes penalty. You see a couple of plays by him where he looks a little bit lost in some certain situations, maybe loses a couple of battles that feels like he was not losing before. Are you kind of starting to feel some of the same concern about that 5-6? And again, when we have these conversations, I want people to put this shit into perspective, because I'm bringing this up. Let's be happy that we're talking about 5-6 and not looking for a top 4, right? Like, I'm well aware of that now. It's a different conversation. But are you experiencing those same things here, Gord, as well?
No, not really. I'm fine because, they're 5-6 guys, and that's what 5-6 guys look pretty much like on every team. The NHL's how many teams now? 32. It's watered down. Your 5 and 6 guys are going to be like that. Yeah. I mean, Benoit, I still like Benoit. He's got that long stick. He cuts off ice. He's not good with the puck. I mean, but he's never been good with the puck. He's kind of chop it around a little bit. He's as long as he can just push it over to his partner. Where Timmins is good with the puck, but he's a little bit too risky at times. He makes some risky plays, and he makes a few over-aggressive plays on D where he gets himself out of position from time to time. But, that's nitpicking. Like I said, 5 and 6 guy. I like Myers. Myers is, again, not great with the puck, but he's in that 5-6 range. So he was a good pickup. It was a smart move. Like, it's a long season. He's a NHL defenseman. He's nothing special, but he's big. He's physical. Maybe doesn't handle the puck all that well, but he looks fine to me. I really like their D. I really like their D a lot. I like Tanev. It's just Tanev is textbook. I mean, you want to teach a kid just defensive D, just show them, film after film of Tanev. They did a
Yeah.
little sequence of him during the first intermission, I think it was, where he, on the wall, he like two Red Wings he gets the puck, comes out, and then the puck gets broke. The puck gets I don't know, it gets chopped up a little bit and it gets back. He goes in and takes it off him again. And he just one after another. Of course, always eating pucks. Benoit too. Benoit's blocking a lot of shots out there. You got to tip your hat to Benoit for blocking shots. He's really
Yep.
he's really doing a good job there. He's just not good with the puck. He
Well,
kind of
they talked about it too on the panel during the game, which I think is a good point that they brought up was like the buy-in from everybody. Everyone all the way in has been top to bottom finding ways to block shots, break up plays, whether it's just getting sticks in lane, if it's committing to sacrificing the body for taking hits to make plays, getting in front of shots, like all that kind of stuff. It's been a lot better. Mig here first says, Zach, brother, you were shitting on Riley the other night. He needs a partner not named Phillips Myers. Defense is shaky. Moment Tanev or McCabe go down. And then Northern Angler, Riley is not a good defensive player. He's okay for an offensive D-man when he's producing. I wouldn't pay him more than 4.5. Okay, so Gord, this is the conversation. I'm sorry, I'm moving around a lot. This is the chair that I'm sitting on.
ouch.
And I've been sitting here for like hours. I'm losing it.
Yeah, I've got two of these cushions on my chair.
Yeah, there you go. I should have done that. Like I should have taken something
but
from
I'm
back
at
there
home.
and sat on it. That comment about you were shitting on Riley the other night. He needs a partner not named Phillips Myers. This is kind of where I was going to ask you, Gord, here. You answered the 5-6. I slightly disagree. Like, I'm not panicked about them, but more so over the last little while, I feel like with the 5-6, I've kind of gotten out of the honeymoon phase with those guys and started to think, hey, you know what? Maybe we could look for an upgrade. It might not be an expensive guy, but this might be the first year that, like, I'm actually really excited about a Joel Edmondson. Like, adding that kind of guy in years past just felt like, oh, cool, you did something, but does it really solve the issue? Maybe not. You've got a top four, right? Like you've got a top group that can play. If you just fill in some of the bottom stuff, that's fine. Here's where I will like have some concern and where I will push back on that comment from Mig there, where I will say that's not fair, is I made comments about Morgan Riley the other night, and the context of the comments was that Morgan Riley has been okay. Morgan Riley has been a guy who is just playing right now. And I think it works best for him when he's with Tanev, McCabe, Ekman, Larkin, right? Like Meg's there saying, oh, when he's not with Phillips Myers, he needs a real partner. Okay, well, when he's with the other guys, he's okay. And Gord, that's fine. But he makes $7.5 million fucking dollars. That's a lot of your cap space. That's a lot of money for a guy who's been like the number one guy for his entire career here in Toronto. And the reality is he's probably not a number one guy. But at $7.5 million, even though you may not be a one, you're expected to be a guy who's contributing. And right now he's not. The offensive aspect of his game has not been there even when he was playing with those guys, which is not acceptable in my opinion. Playing with Tanev, McCabe, Ekman, Larkin. You get opportunities to go with guys who are that defensively responsible and are taking that much pressure off of you, and guys who, by the way, can actually move the puck really well. Like Luke Shen can move the puck. Ron Hainsey can move the puck. But I'll tell you, those guys, I don't think they move the puck as well as, Tanev or Ekman Larkin on that first pass. Like, I just don't think that they do. I don't think that their minds or offensive games were maybe as reactive and aware as those kinds of guys. So that's even a step up to help Riley. And the offensive production has not been there for him. And we've all kind of just said it's okay. So kind of circling back on this one, when we're saying, hey, you need a partner that's not Philippe Myers. Well, guess what? He's been bad with Myers, bad with Timmins, bad with Benoit in those opportunities, bad with Hakanpää in the 2 games that Hakanpää played. And then when he plays with Ekman and Larson, and he plays with Tanev, and he plays with McCabe in those, even like some of these guys I'm saying, he's getting limited opportunities or minutes with some of them. But when he gets those, the offensive game has not been like, holy shit, look at this guy, and that's our guy that we're paying $7.5 million to. Is there concern for Morgan Riley from you? Are you just looking at this going, hey, you know what? He's a guy who showed up in the playoffs. It's fine. It'll be there then. Like, what's the outlook on 44 right now? And am I on an island here when I'm actually starting to have some panic about this guy and where his game's been at offensively in the first season of maybe his career? I don't know if that's extreme to say, but maybe his career in Toronto where he's only had to worry about offense. Latvia just scored, and I think that is
that's OT, yeah.
That's it in a shootout.
Or is that, wow.
They just won.
Wow.
It went 8 rounds.
Wow. That goalie won that game. Good for them. So they're going to have to beat the States or they're going to have to hope there's only 2 teams that come out of that group, or is it 3 teams and the top 2 get a bye?
I wish I knew, Gord. I don't.
Okay.
I don't know in the moment. This is not a game I end.
Anyway, if that's the case, if it's 3 teams, and maybe this good loss is a good thing. So
maybe
losing the last year though.
Anyways, back to Riley.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Riley has changed much. He always looks like the same guy to me. Like, he had that one big year. What was his top? Did he get 70 points one year or something? So I think he had that one big year, but he's always, I don't think he's looked tired at times, but he doesn't look tired. I mean, he's always been the same defensively.
Yeah, that's never changed.
He's always been the same defensively. He's got his warts defensively. He makes bad pinches, for example. I think he got burned on a bad pinch the other day in one of those losses at the end before the Christmas break. Yeah, but he's not, we all know he's not a true number 1 defenseman, not even number 2 defenseman. He's probably, ideally a number 4 guy. So I think you're right. He's paid too much, but that's just the way the chips fell. I mean, we didn't have any defenseman they could pay $7 million to, unless they wanted to pay $7 million to who's the Russian guy that Dmitry Orlov or something, like, who was available in that price range. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So would you trade Riley and say Riley, Minton, and a pick for Kadri and Uyghur? You could solve your contract problem by flipping both Kadri and Riley make the same money.
This is true.
$7 million.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's like Calgary's interested in going back, right? Like, right, Gordon? Like, that's realistically, that's not.
You don't think so? They don't think a young guy like Minton's.
But I don't think Riley. I don't think Riley being that big piece in that is that enticing to them, honestly.
Really?
I don't see why he would be.
Probably not. Not if Uyghur's involved, because he's pretty much getting the same thing for Uyghur. So it's basically Kadri for Minton, right?
Yeah.
They might want to go younger with that group or whatever. And like Minton's going to be Minton's more of a NHL certainty than Cowan is at this point, I think. Cowan it has the more upside. It might be the more spectacular player, goal scorer, etc. But Minton looks like the real deal in terms of a certain, solid NHL kind of a Trevor Linden-like player, maybe up the middle, third line guy who's a defensive center, who can chip in with some offense. I really like Minton a lot. Hard to tell about Cowan just playing junior hockey and not really getting enough look at him in the NHL. But if you're going to make it if you're going to get anybody in the trade, it's one of those two kids is going. Plus a pick.
I mean, I would assume. Yeah, I would assume.
Nobody's taken no Jeremy Brackos or nobody's taken Steves or or Grabenkin or none of those guys are. So don't be dreaming about that. Knies are calling for Minton, Cowan, and maybe Robertson is a throw-in, but that's a throw-in. They want one of the two kids. Yeah. So when you're talking about trades, you better be ready to give up one of those two guys because that's all the other GMs are asking about. They're not asking about Steves.
People are getting mad at you in the chat here. Denver, who's all over the place every single night. I don't know.
Just let me quantify that by saying I'm perfect. I would not trade either one of the two kids. Yeah. I would not trade either one of the two kids for another shot at maybe getting the cup because it's either the cup. I don't care about winning a round or 2 rounds. I'm not going to give up 3 rounds for the cup. I'll win 4 rounds if you want to give up I'll give up one of the two kids or both of them to win 4 rounds. But I think the odds of winning 4 rounds by just even making one trade are still low. So why, again, we've traded the future again and again and again and again. I'm not looking to be trading the future. Matthews, Nylander, and Marner are all still young. They're going to need somebody coming up through the system. I mean, Dubas pretty much gutted it. So you need someone coming up through the system. So just to let you guys know in the chat, I'm just spitballing. I'm just saying everyone's talking about trades. And when you're talking about trades, we need this third line center. We need maybe a top 4 D. Who do you think the other team's going to ask for? They're not asking for Steves and Robertson and a second. So that's who they're asking for. So if you want those guys that you're talking about, those are the guys that are up on the trade board. It's Minton and Cowan and and picks. For me, Gord. I keep both of them because for me, I would trade picks. I would trade a first because who knows? Who knows? It's hit and miss. Even like if you get first overall, it's hit and miss. You could have an Alexander Daig, who knows, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, from what I've seen, Minton and Cowan are both sure things, I think. In terms of, I don't know what they're going to be in the NHL, but I think they're sure things in terms of NHL players, of becoming NHL players. So I'd rather give up a pick where you don't know because you don't know who that guy is. And maybe it's going to end up being a slot like who's the guy for Carolina that they lost in the Marlowe deal.
I mean, they drafted him. Yeah, Seth Jarvis. That's a guy I look at every single time and say, I would love Seth Jarvis here. Obviously, that's a guy who's going to be playing for Canada at the Four Nations. So, that's quite unfortunate. But, I know what you mean. I mean, I got a chance to watch Cowan yesterday. I would say that guy is very, very, very intriguing as a player. Smaller guy, feisty, plays with some bite, not afraid to try things, has a lot of confidence with the puck. He was a lot of fun to watch, and he seems to have even taken a step further physically and mentally in terms of maturity from where he was last season. So we'll see, and I think one thing to kind of take into consideration here when people are bringing this up in the chat and losing their minds and stuff, not trying to put words into Gord's mouth, but like I think what Gord is trying to say and what the conversation I'm having with it as well, and my curiosity or thought process more so comes into people want to throw out names all the time, and that's fun. This guy would be fun to get. This guy's fun to bring in here. That's great. Those things are fun to bring up and fun to think about and think about how they fit in the team and how they help, etc. Where I look at it is who's it that they're asking for? Because people can get pissy all they want in the chat. That's fine. But Gord's probably right. And it doesn't mean you have to make the trade. And Gord's not saying you have to make the trade. I'm not saying you have to make the trade. But, like, we oftentimes as fans go, like, fantasy land. And it's like we're playing be a GM mode on easy. And, oh, yeah, we're going to trade for Nazem Kadri, and, it's going to be double retain. He's going to come here at $1.75 million for the next 4 years of his contract. And, we gave up Yanni Hockenpah, Calle Yarncroke, and next year's 6th and 7th, the year after 6th and 7th, the year after 6th and 7th, and the year after 6th and 7th. It's like, no, what the fuck? That's not how the NHL works. That's not how it's ever worked. That's not how trades work. The GM answers the phone and says, okay, how about Fraser Minton? Like,
if someone was asking for Robertson,
right?
The trade would have been done already. Nobody's asking for Robertson. Right. People are dreaming. These people on the chat, Robertson. The guy was in a suit for 5 games.
We can't just trade your trash to get these players. Is more so the conversation. And neither of us, myself nor Gord, are saying you have to make these trades. It's just a conversation of what are you willing to trade it for, and those guys are around. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. Gord, we have a couple super chats here that I want to get you a part of, and but before I do, just quickly here, I want to shout someone out. I got to meet someone today. Obviously, you guys know I'm doing this in a hotel room in Ottawa right now. I'm here with Jeff Merrick and The Sheet and part of the Nation Network. We're doing a lot of content around and daily face-off around the World Juniors, covering everything that's going on. Obviously, couldn't go to this game, which maybe for the best here tonight, but couldn't go to this one watching the Leafs game. We'll be with you guys again tomorrow doing the post-game show for tomorrow's Leafs game against the Capitals as well. But here doing a lot of stuff, and today we're doing a live show in person, and this guy comes up to us, Adam Bridle. I want to give a shout out to Adam Bridle. He comes up to Jeff and I, told us he watches the show. He's a guy who lives in Ottawa, ladies and gentlemen. Gord, you'll like this as well. He's a guy who lives in Ottawa. He watches the show. He watches every Leafs Nation After Dark. He's watching all the Leafs Morning Take content. He came up and said hi, shook our hands, talked to us for a couple of minutes. Adam lives in Ottawa and says that none of his friends are Leafs fans, so he just has to deal with everything on his own. Watches the show, I guess, reads the chat as well there, just sees everything going on. So I am putting words in his mouth with this, but I guess his friends, his people, his therapy to get through games and the ups and downs of a Leaf season is us. So I appreciate that. That was really cool for me to find out that people living elsewhere, obviously like you, Gord, who have found us along the way, continue to support, continue to watch, and are active in the chat and are out and about. For those of you who are in Ottawa or will be around over the next little while, come say hi if you want to. We're around at World Junior stuff. But Adam Bridle, shout out to Adam, who came up and said hi at the event. And I feel bad for you, Adam. You're just battling it out on your own out here in Ottawa with it's you against all 50 Senators fans. It's unfortunate. But it is what it is.
There's a huge Toronto Maple Leafs contingent in Ottawa.
Yeah.
So I was up there with my Japanese Taik team. Not Taik, Adam team. They have what's the Ottawa tournament there?
Bell Capital Cup.
Yep, the Bell Capital Cup, and we had tons of like the local people out, and there were tons of Leaf fans there. There were more Leaf fans than Ottawa fans among the fathers and stuff. So I found that to be pretty interesting.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Couple things here.
And Ottawa treated us like gold. We got tickets to 2 games there, and the kids were able to see Bruins game and Capitals. And at that time, all the kids here in Japan were Ovechkin fans.
Nice.
They're all Ovechkin fans. Ovechkin and Crosby, of course. So yeah, it was a big thrill for them. And Ottawa treated us like gold. So I took my hats off to the Ottawa Senators for sure.
You know what's funny about that, actually? You know what's funny about that, Gord? I when I came and I played in the Bell Capital Cup, you just brought up Ovechkin when you were here. the other day, last night actually, I was sitting with Steven Ellis of Daily Faceoff. We were watching the Canada-Finland game, and he says to me, the last time I watched a game here, this is what he said. He's like, it was a couple of years ago, and the Sens played the Capitals, and we sat down and did an interview with Alex Ovechkin, and I was like, oh, that's funny. The first time I came and watched a game here, it was the Senators against the Capitals, and it was Ovi's 4-goal game that he scored against the Sens. And I was like, huh. And then you just come on here right now and tell me that when you came here for the Bell Capital Cup, you watched the Sens play the Capitals. So that's pretty funny. But we got a couple of super chats here for you, Gord. I want to answer these here because I appreciate the people in the chat. Appreciate everyone who sent anything. Obviously, proceeds go to Sick Kids. So thank you to everyone who sends super chats. The other thing that I will just say here quickly is we did hit over 50 likes. I have the smelling salts here somewhere. I'm like 99% sure that I brought them. But I thought that they were in the bag that's beside me. They aren't, and I don't really want to get up and walk around the hotel room trying to find them, digging through my bag while the show is going on, and you guys are just sitting here. So I will do all the smelling salts from today's show tomorrow. So if you really want to make it nuts, get it to 100, and we'll do the 50 and 100 from today to start tomorrow's show, and then you guys get it up tomorrow, and we'll keep ramping them up. But I just wanted to point that out for anybody who's new or joining late or whatever it may have been. I can't find them in this bag that I thought I did have, but it's beside me. We have some super chats. Let's do this here, Gord.
Okay.
Okay, first super chat here from So Sang Them. It is in regards to something I said earlier. We were talking about it was Riley and Knies' weight. And when I was bringing up the fact that Riley is a thick boy, he said, Riley with that beefy cake, yo. Fair enough, So Sang Them. Appreciate the super chat. Next one is Meg. Meg says, Gordo, trade Marner would fetch a nice return. How have you felt about Mitch Marner's play here lately, Gord? Because I've been a fan. I have been a fan of Mitch Marner's play lately, and the reason that I build up to that statement as I say it like that is because when he has specifically looked the best here? Without Austin Matthews over the last couple of weeks. How have you felt about Mitch Marner and how he has elevated his play in the absence of number 34?
Well, you know me, man. I've never been off the Marner wagon. I'm a huge Marner booster. Always have been, always will be. I love Marner. As far as Mig, a boatload, guy, give your head a shake. He's on an expiring contract. He has a no-move clause on an expiring contract. He wants to stay in Toronto. Who are you gonna get a boatload from? Who's gonna give up a ransom for a guy that's gonna walk in July? Who's gonna give up a ransom for a guy that's gonna walk in July? And you're looking for a top 4 defenseman. You the only team that's going to be trading for a Marner is a team that's out of the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Or in the playoffs. And only a team that's in the playoffs. Do you think a playoff team is going to give up a top 4 defenseman? Really? You think so? First, Marner's got to waive his no move contract. He's already shown that he loves Toronto. He wants to stay in Toronto. So forget that right off the bat. Number 2, you can only trade with a playoff team because a non-playoff team is not going to trade a boatload for a guy in an expiring contract. They're out of their mind. Why, when they can just sign the guy in July? And if he's not going to re-sign in July, what's the point? So then you're talking about a sign-and trade. You're going to get a sign-and trade with the guy unless you offer him some crazy amount of money. That's not going to happen. So who's your trading partner? Who do you suggest? Who do you think? It's got to be another playoff team, and Marner's got to waive his no-move clause. So how about just forgetting about Marner in any kind of trade talk? Because that's not going to happen, Mig. Simple as that.
Fair enough.
Not going to happen, guy. Not going to happen. I told you guys at the end of last year's playoff, Marner's not getting traded. Everybody and his brother said Marner's getting traded. This is it. Marner's getting traded. Guess what? Marner didn't get traded, like I said all along. And I'm here. I'm here, and I got my chest out with "I told you so." I told you so back last year playoff when they got bounced. Everybody and his brother wanted Marner out. Brian Hayes leading the charge on TSN.
I did.
My goodness. Anyway, yeah, Marner's he's got his flaws, man. He's peripheral. He is what he is, man. But the guy's a heck of a playmaker. He's a heck of a hockey player. He's a heck of a defensive hockey player, and he's a Toronto guy. I want as many Toronto guys on the Toronto Maple Leafs as possible. That's why I like Evans. I want Toronto guys on my Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't mind if you're a Russian guy, if you can score, if you can stop the puck, if you can hit, great. I want Toronto guys that can do that. As a Toronto guy myself and a Toronto fan, I want the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's why I like Toronto Mitch Marner. Good point, because he's not going anywhere. So too much Sacky. No, guy, it's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I haven't had a drink.
All right, Gord. Well, I will get you out of here on that. I think that that's a strong note for you to go out of here on. I appreciate you calling in. You're always welcome on the show. It had been far too long since we had you. Obviously, we've had a bunch of guests rolling through the show, whether it was Tyler Ennis, Rosie, and Nick popping back in, producer Vic, who made his first appearance on camera on the channel, I believe, Carter Hutton. But you are always welcome.
Yeah, guys, you got the pros there now. So Japanese Pee-wee coach is getting kicked to the curb.
No. You always have a special place on the Leafs Nation After Dark.
It's cool, guy. I'm watching the show. I love Rosie. I love your guy. Rosie's been hard on Marner too, and I've chirped on him as well. So, no, but I love it, guy. You got great guests on there. I'm glad to see you part of that Leafs Nation broadcast. Looks good on you, man. So keep up the great work. And it's been a while, Chad. Nice seeing you. Nice seeing you getting chirping me hard on the board again. So it's great to be back. Anyway. Thanks for having me, man.
Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. There you go. That is Gord's Corner, helping us break down tonight's game. As always, we do appreciate him for stopping by here. We've got a few more things to get to quickly before we wrap up the show here tonight. This has been a long one, which I didn't anticipate, A, based on the fact that I'm in a hotel room in the shittiest chair of all time, and B, I guess I can slide around, so that's like a pretty cool feature, and I can kind of just rip around like that and keep the mic close to me as well because it's just in my hands. I can do whatever, but appreciate Gord for stopping by. Appreciate Gord for helping us break down tonight's game. We always appreciate Gord's Corner. I see the other thing was this chair, a hotel room, and the fact that the show started the way it did. 0 frames, everything dropping in and out, and then here we are. We made it, and we've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. I did not expect that. One more thing here before we get to the final stuff. Obviously, I got to meet someone today. That was a pretty cool moment for myself. I think that those are fun. But someone that I have not, and shout out again, I want to give a shout out to Adam Bridle, but someone that I have not met in person and will be meeting in person, I've got to talk to a lot here and got to know pretty well, but feels like almost the same way that you guys have got to know him as Jay Rosehill. And I will be seeing Rosie in person with you guys, for those of you who join us for the first time in Nashville. And if you didn't know about it, we've got some exciting news here on the show. This is the Nation Vacation. It's not your average trip. We're taking it to the Music City from March 20th to 23rd. We're packing our jerseys and heading to Nashville to watch Toronto take on Nashville in their own barn. We're talking hockey action, honky-tonk vibes, and the kind of memories that only come when you roll deep with the Nation crew. Flight packages, we've got them. Prefer to handle your own. We've got non-flight options, so whatever works for you, just get yourself there because this is going to be electric. Spots are limited, so don't miss your chance to join the action. Book your trip now at nationgear.ca. Ladies and gentlemen, that's nationgear.ca. Nashville awaits. See you there. Make sure to check out all the packages available, but join us there. That'll be pretty cool. Obviously, heading over to Hut's Bar, Love and Elixir Bar. We'll be doing some live pods there, all the Nation boys, morning shows, pregame shows, postgame shows, having some cool guests stop by. We'll be heading on over to the rink to watch the Leafs and the Predators play, but lots of cool stuff. Make sure to be joining us in Nashville there. It'll be a pretty cool experience. Get to hang out, which I don't know if this is that cool, hanging out with me, but Alberga, Rosehill, Hutton, those are the guys you want to hang out with. They'll be there with us as well, so you want to see them, hang out with them, meet them, whatever it may be. Nashville, March 20th to 23rd. That'll be a pretty cool experience. So make sure to check that out. A couple more things here to get to before we wrap up the show tonight. Let's first and foremost get to Play of the Game. Okay, Play of the Game. It's going to suck when I get to the next segments of the show here right after this one because of the nature of this. But Play of the Game for me is going to be here tonight. It's going to be the John Tavares pass across to Joshua Distel's. I think Zack new chair, buddy. It's a hotel. I didn't pick the chair. Order room service, Zack. Yeah. Play of the game. Sorry, just chat distracted me. Play of the game for me here tonight is the JT pass across to Marner. It's like I don't even really need to explain it all too much, but I mean I'm thinking about this one, just how this went down, and it's JT getting the pass in the bumper spot, turns and makes a beautiful play, which like even if that one went in, it would have been a top conversation point here on the show tonight. Was the pass across to Marner, who's walking into that one, rips off the one-timer, gets saved, bounces out, and then it's JT corralling the rebound, grabs it, and then as he's got his face to the wall, he's got his back to Marner across over there, and he rips that thing, backhand, no look, tape to tape, and it's not like a 3-foot pass, you know, like that thing had to travel a distance to get across to Marner. It's right in the wheelhouse, and he fires it one-timer home. That was a beautiful play. Honorable mention then is going to go to the Nylander pass to Marner for him to score. I'm going to say something here. This is going to piss some people off. I'm starting to wonder, it may be premature and it may be recency bias. Is William Nylander the best all-around player on this team? He's certainly developing his game, adding elements, maturing physically. Playmaking ability has always been there. It's just getting better. His goal-scoring ability is continuing to get better. He's adding the defensive aspect of his game. He's not afraid physically. He's not afraid of taking a hit to make a play. It's interesting how he has progressed over the last while. And I'm just looking at the playmaking plus the goal scoring. And then the fact that he's bringing in this defensive style or this defensive commitment, at least. Like, I don't think he's the best defensive player. Let's not go nuts there. But I think that that's being brought in to his game now. And on top of that, the other thing would just be the clutch factor, which I think he has the most of anyone on this team. So I'm starting to think he might be the maybe the best player isn't the right word. Maybe the most important. Maybe the most important. Maybe that's nuts, but I don't know. I'm the more I watch him and how much he can just take over at any given moment, the more I wonder if that's the case. But that assist to Marner was pretty disgusting. Tavares across the top, walking in, no look pass to Willie at the side. He takes 2 steps towards the net, draws the attention of the Red Wings, then he slips it past across ice to Marner for the one-time goal. That was pretty electric pass. Great play, great finish there. And then, obviously, Marner hat-trick goal. It's Pacioretty who drives the zone, draws the Red Wings defenders down low. After he does that, he hits the brakes. He draws back up top, and then he's curling around. He tips it off, drops it off to Ekman Larson, who's skating around kind of in a crossing pattern there. Ekman Larson just quickly fires that thing towards the net, and it's Marner coming across who is able to tip it in for the hat-trick goal. Kudos to Marner. He really elevates his game here. All these guys seem to step up with Matthews out. My biggest issue is figure out a way to bring that level of play when he's back, because if you do, this team will go to another level. Okay, that's play of the game. Let's get to a quick recap here of what we've got for the best bet from tonight. And our best bet segment is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation after dark. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, all caps, N-A-T-I-O-N. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Code NATION, all caps. Thank you so much to everyone who signed up there. Obviously, click the link. Don't know how that happened. That's good. Thank you to everyone who's clicked the link in the description and signed up there. Use code NATION, all caps. Best bet tonight did not go our way. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning there, and I just brought it up in the play of the game, but we had John Tavares over 3.5 shots on goal. Does not win. I anticipated Johnny T to be the focal point of that line when you have a playmaker in Mitch Marner and a guy who can get you pucks and win battles like Matthew Knies. And didn't end up being the case here tonight for this group. Mitch Marner decided he was going to be the goal scorer tonight. So, in terms of like how things go for the team, I personally just don't really care that happened, because I would rather just win the game and have other guys step up, and it's a good story, and it's nice to see Mitch contributing and finding the back of the net. For the bet, yeah, that sucked. Like, Tavares was heavily involved in the offense. Like, let's not get this twisted, but in terms of our shots on goal bet, yeah, like, just what was that? Like, just does not happen for us. So that's frustrating. We lose a half unit on that one, but you know what, Johnny T, over 3.5 shots on goal. I still don't feel terrible about making that bet. I feel bad that that's the bet that was given out, because we lose that one here on the show. But it happens. It happens. Okay. Last thing to get to before we wrap this one up is the grade of the game. I want to know what you guys have for your grades of the game. I'm going to tell you guys this. I did this one tonight while I was watching the game. I did it a little differently than usual. I normally just try to do like a breakdown of how everything went as a whole. I've tried to do this in numerous different ways. For those of you who remember from the old channel, I used to do the grade of the game with like an Excel sheet that was broken out, and I would score things out of 10. And then we kind of, once I stopped doing it with Josh, because I was going off of like numbers and Josh was going off vibes. Once we stopped doing that, I started to adapt more of a middle ground to try to bring it back together, because before with Josh, we would find like even point between the two of us. He would have one thing vibes, I would have another based off what the breakdown was mathematically. Now I just try to go a little bit of both. I did a little bit of a change up here, and in the first period, I wrote down my grade. The second period, I wrote down my grade. In the third period, I wrote down my grade. So here's what I had for each, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to give the overall. First period was an A+. I think that's self-explanatory. I talked about how amazing the first was. You start on time. You get basically everything you could ask for. A fourth-line goal. You get a first-line goal. So you get either end of the spectrum. You get a special teams goal from the power play there. Bang. You get all of those. You get a shutout from your goalie. You killed off you killed off a penalty, You had some decent opportunities and looks on the power play there. Like, everything kind of was in the right direction. A road game coming back from the holidays. The second period was kind of vanilla. It was okay. You got the goal from Robertson, and other than that, it was kind of just like here and there. We just hung around. The Marner hat-trick goal, I kind of put that one as like a B+. Like, you didn't really give up too much anything nuts. You created some opportunities. You finished on a couple of chances. It looked like that game might have been 8-0, but like. And people will be like, oh, there's 2 goals. How could you give B+ and say nothing happened? Like, tell me, like, watching that game, did that second period feel like rah-rah? Like, it mostly felt like it was just, we're out here and we capitalized. The third period, mind you, was more like a C+. Like, you kind of let the defensive style of game get away from you. Now, keep in mind the context here. Detroit's going to bring pressure. Detroit's going to really ramp things up and try to produce offense and go. Outside of that, I'm like, you found a way. You got to win. You blew the shutout, though. That sucked. Yeah, you had some bad moments that led to that. It was a C+ third period. All in all, I'm going to go B+ as my grade. It's right in the middle of the 3 grades that I gave. The fact that you did tail off as the game went on is a little bit frustrating, but I'm glad they opened the game the way they did. I wish they kept the shutout for Joe Woll. Other than that, I think this is a fine night from this Leafs team, and I'm happy to get a win coming back from the break here. So kudos to them for finding a way to get it done. Kudos to you guys in the chat for hitting that like button, subscribing here to the channel. That's going to do it for me here on the post-game show. Sorry about the technical difficulties to open things up. I'm glad that we were able to figure this out and get it back on the right track. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel. Also, just a quick note, 67 likes on the stream here today. I don't have the salts with me beside me. I'm pretty sure they're literally in like a closet back there, so I will get them after and have them for the stream for tomorrow. If they are here, that is a promise. And what I will do is I will make up for the salts that were missed tonight. So there was 50 likes. I will do salts to start tomorrow. So smelling salts plus whatever you guys send as well during the show. Thank you so much for liking the stream. I will be back tomorrow for another game preview coming out tomorrow around noon. And then I will also be back for Leafs Nation After Dark following tomorrow night's game against the Washington Capitals. Thank you guys for liking. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating in the chat. We had a ton of viewers from start to finish, even with the technical difficulties. So thank you guys. This has been game number 36 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season, defeating the Detroit Red Wings 5-2 here tonight, and moving to 22-12-2 on the season. Thank you all for watching, as always. We'll catch you guys back here tomorrow for another edition of Leafs Nation After Dark. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the